So there we discussed about the use case development, like what is the need of use case development and how you go about defining the problem statement. So this all we covered in the fourth module in the previous class. So your fourth module comprises of 4 parts. So in the previous class we discussed the first 2 points, that is approaches to gather business requirement. So how we will for you creating your business, you will have different requirements, and how to specify those requirements also we had covered. Like it needs to be like crisp, it needs to be unambiguous, it needs to be perfect, giving all the details to the funding agency so they have a clear understanding of what you exactly need. Accordingly they'll provide you funds and like money so that you can go ahead with your business. Next is what is business statement, the problem statement, and how to define that. So these two points we covered in the previous class. So today we will be covering the next 2 parts, that is the business requirement for use case development. So we specified these two we covered. So today's topic is business requirement for use case development and what are the assets for development of IoT solutions. Okay. So coming to the business requirements for use case development. So use case development means for before the whatever use case you propose for your IoT product, any manufacturing business you are creating or something. So you will be having different use cases. Use cases means for a specific case you will be using your particular product or particular approach. So for that, what are the business requirements? Okay, so for that there are 10 steps for successful business cases for any IoT implementation. So the 10 steps are: the first is recognize the need for a business case. Okay, so it's not that like anything in the market you can directly blindly go and think that I'll implement my IoT approach here and it will work. So the first thing is you need to identify a proper place where your business IoT product can be implemented, and is it actually necessary. Okay, so ultimately if you don't think the necessity of that implementation, you will be reinventing the wheel again. Okay, so there is no use of wasting your money and time, effort, everything on something which already exists and people don't need it anymore. Need it anymore. Rather, you need to invest something, all your effort, all your energy into developing something which is need of the hour. Okay, so the first thing is recognize the need for a business case. So first your priority is recognize a particular product or a particular item where your IoT business can be implemented and it is needed. People want that to be done, wants that to be implemented. Next is start on the soft floor. Okay, so what is this soft floor? So suppose you are having your entire business, so you have a hierarchy. Okay, there will be some top leaders, so the project leader, the PL team leader, PL, TL, all those things. So at the end you have the software developers, testing teams and all. So at the head there is a managerial board, at the down there is the software testing board. Okay, like people. So the first thing is, if you are trying to introduce some particular IoT, your entire IoT concept into a particular use case, that will be best judged by the lower level or the grassroots level. Okay, so that is called as start on the soft floor. Soft floor means, so suppose think that suppose Big Bazaar, okay, or the Future Group. So what they have is they have their different outlets in different parts of India. Okay, so they have the Future Group or the Big Bazaar Group. So they have outlets in different parts of within a single city. Suppose Indore, they have hundreds of outlets. Okay, in suppose Mumbai, they have thousands of outlets. So but the thing is, all the outlets in every part of the country have a specific orientation. So if you enter to the Big Bazaar of Indore, and if you enter to the big bazaar of Mumbai, you won't realize the difference because they have that specific orientation. Like suppose you enter, there is that kids section here on left hand side, so they generally keep it updating also. They keep changing that, and whatever changes they do, that is done uniformly all over the India or all over the country. Okay, so that decision of how to place, where to place, and where to keep what things are taken at the shop level. Okay, that is not a decision taken by the owner of the the future group. Rather, that decisions are taken by the shop level. Shop level means because the person or the attendants or the salesman over there, they are the best judge. They can tell that people who enter first, suppose either they'll search for kids section or young section, those kind of things. So where do they generally look for? So accordingly they take the important decisions. So similarly for your IoT product also, if you have planned to launch your product into the market, the first thing is that decision, like where to launch, how to launch, some um, kind of key decisions cannot be taken by the managerial board. Rather, that has to be taken at the shop level. Is it clear? Yeah. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Is it clear? Chitnis Rajabhai, can you hear me? Yeah. Chitnis Rajabhai, can you hear me? Isita Gupta. Hello. Karthik Vasisht. Okay. Isita, could you hear me? Is it clear whatever I told? Okay. Okay. Mithul, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so reply to my questions. Like whenever I'm I want some a nod from you. Just give me that nod so that I know that you are available. Okay, all of you. So the thing is, so you are today's topic is you are launching your IoT product. So what are the business requirements you need to consider? First is recognize the need. Okay, so first the thing is you need, you have to identify what is the actual need, and if it is necessary, then only go for introducing that. Next is start on the shop floor. As I told you, you need to take it. This, some of the strategic decisions cannot be taken at the managerial level. Rather, those needs to be taken at the shop floor level. Just the example of that big bazaar thing I gave you. The third one is identify meaningful data. So suppose you have identified I have to launch this product in this particular market and I need to implement this my IoT in suppose use case of a so suppose coffee vending machine. Okay, so just think of suppose a scenario, you have a software farm. Suppose you have your CTAs, Infosys, all those software farms. So what they have to do is they have the coffee vending machines inside their farms. Okay, inside the office. So suppose somebody needs to have a coffee, they can go and take that coffee for using the they simply show the coffee mug and the coffee pours in and they can get it. So if they make that IoT enabled, okay, so what will be the advantage? Is it actually necessary? So let's think about that. So first thing is, suppose the coffee vending machine is the, generally in software people prefer to have coffee breaks, okay, because they generally sit at a single place, they get tired, they get bored sitting at a single place coding all day, so they need breaks, and the best break they can have is the coffee break. Okay, so if the coffee vending machine is IoT enabled, what will happen is, so each, suppose each a cup of the person will have a different RFIDs. Okay, so accordingly who is using and all can be noted down at the software end. Like this person came, suppose one person comes to the coffee vending machine 5 times a day, and what is the productivity at the end of that day for that person. So depending on the coffee index, what is the productivity. So those kind of relationships can be established. Okay, so how much time the cup stay in the coffee vending machine, all those details can be, like when they put it in the dustbin, depending on the RFID tag, they can identify what was the in time and what was the out time. So accordingly, they can identify this person spends around 1 hour a day in the coffee machines. On that day, the performance at the end is like he meets the deadline, so he's fine. So it is like they prefer that these kind of like analysis or strategies can be built. So first thing is, next thing is identify your meaningful data. So what are the data you need to identify for your IoT use case also. So linked to this is the need to identify what kind of data streams and analysis would be useful to your organization. So if you go about doing this and realize that it has no meaning, suppose coffee vending machine, suppose somebody has done, later they realize that there is no link or no like analysis being, you are not able to draw any conclusion out of those. So it is simply a waste of time. Okay. So first thing is identify your meaningful data. So which data will be helpful? Those data needs to be identified. Next is employ predictive analytics. Okay. So as you know that like any like company or something, suppose large vehicles, heavy vehicles where you have involved. So downtime is a major concern there, because if you have a single tractor and it becomes out of order, so you will have lot of problem there. So to avoid that, we go for this predictive analytics. What it will do is it will have the predictive analysis will help you like have an like you can predict when the vehicle will go out of order, depending on the like different parameters of the vehicle. You keep continuously tracking, and then you can predict that after 1 month there is some like unnecessary like monitoring of the device or regular checkup of the device needs to be done, or else the device will become out of order. If that happens, suppose your tractor becomes out of order, so all your entire processes of the factory will be paused. So to avoid that, you need to employ predictive analysis. So similarly for your product also, if you are going to launch your IoT like technology there also you need to have an predictive analysis. Like if I do this, after how many days I need to go for routine checkup or regular checkup, all those things are necessary. Fifth point is track your product and assets. Okay, so if you are employing your IoT approach to any product, you need to track it. Okay, and the assets, how much asset is involved, all those needs to be tracked properly. Next is create new revenue models. Okay, so this is also like any business you are creating, you should not stick to a particular business strategy. Rather, just like you might have seen Amazon have recently used that subscription model, where instead of like buying a product, if you subscribe to that model, you get like more benefits. Okay, so you similarly for you also, whenever you are launching your product or using your IoT to a new product in the market, so you need to also follow different revenue models. Don't stick to a single model. To like to maximize your profit, you need to choose different like revenue models, and then see how it performs. Then move from drawing board to reality. So whatever like planning and all those analysis you do are generally initially done at the drawing board level. You think that if I launch this, I keep this will happen. If I do this will happen. So that has to be taken into the reality domain. Okay. So if you don't actually do it in the real domain, you won't be, everything will be in pen and paper. So at least some kind of implementation is necessary for like getting the actual feel how it works. Next is choose the right IoT platform and partners. So this we had like partly discussed also in the previous classes. So whenever you are choosing your IoT platform, you need to be like very what you need to be very keen in selecting which platform you need. Like it should have proper security protocols, it should have offline mode, all these features we already discussed. So choosing the IoT platform, you need to be very careful what platform you choose and what are the with whom you are trying to partner. Okay. Next is build a proof of concept. Okay. So suppose you want to launch your product or something. So before going into the actual implementation, you have to go for a proof of concept. Proof of concept means instead of going for a large scale manufacturing all of a sudden, just start your whatever your plan is, just start it at a like very uh, small level, like one or two. Suppose a company, suppose Infosys wants to introduce some AR headsets, okay, augmented reality headsets for their like employees, and see how it performs. So instead of like buying AR headsets, for those are obviously costly, so instead of buying the AR headsets for every employee in the company, what they can do is they can buy like 2 to 3 AR headsets and give it in a like what you say, in a periodic way to some particular employees, or all the employees in over a weekly basis, like 1 week this person uses and see how they perform, what is the improve in their productivity and all. So accordingly they take a decision. If the productivity or the like performance of the person improves with the use of AR headsets, so they can go for procuring more headsets for every employee. Okay, so that is building a proof of concept. So instead of going and buying every AR headsets for every employee in the organization at the first stage, rather go for like procuring one or two products and see how it performs, then take the strategic decisions. Next is roll out at scale. So once a business case is established, so once your proof of concept is established, once everything, like you have analyzed that this is actually the need, and you have seen that in proof of concept also it is performing better. So next thing is roll out at scale. So roll out at scale means at the actual scale, you simply start your like whatever you have proposed. Suppose you needed 500 AR headsets, now go and buy 500 headsets. Okay, then start your everything, all your operations at scale. At scale means at the like whatever scale you had initially presumed, at that scale you started, so that you need not again like go for upscaling or downscaling later. Rather whatever you have in your mind, you go for that particular operation at that particular scale. Was it clear? This 10 approaches, was it clear? Okay, next is assets for development of IoT solution. Okay, so what is this asset tracking? So suppose if you are launching your IoT product, so there will be different assets involved. Assets might be maybe you like people who are like associated with you for the production or something, or the equipment. Okay, so those are the either it can be humans or equipments. Okay, so you need to track them. Okay, during the entire operation of your business, you need to have a tracking, or you need to have an idea where your machine is, where your like the persons who work under you are. So that is called as asset tracking. Okay, so how do you do that? So the assets that exist like in your IoT product or in your IoT business, there will be like multiple human beings who work under you, or there will be some equipments that work for that particular thing. So all those comprise your asset. So how do you track that? Okay, so there are different technologies, this RFID tracking, NFC tracking, or GPS tracking, Bluetooth, IoT tracking. So all this can be used, or barcodes also. Okay, so you give a like barcode to every, or RFID tag to every device, so that wherever the device is, you can look at it. Okay. So next is key features best asset tracking system include. So these are the basic tracking, like if you are tracking something, so these are the asset tracking analytics, asset tracking reporting, asset tracking alerts, and asset depreciation tracking. So these are the four major tracking like mechanisms that come in when you think of tracking any asset of your business, be it human beings or be it your machines. So you might have heard, like you might know that people have a retirement age. So why do the companies go for that? Because that is only because of this asset depreciation tracking. They could make they have an understanding that after like 60 years or something, the depreciation starts. Okay, so that's why they go for the asset depreciation tracking. So they need to have a tracking analysis, which for device performs well, which human performs well. Accordingly, they take their strategic decisions. Then assets for development of IoT solutions. Okay, so track assets in real time through manufacturing factories. So how do you do that? How the IoT enable mobile asset tracking, monitor equipments even in locations where humans cannot intervene. There would be some kind of equipments which work under like water, or like in your company you have something where it needs to go inside a machine and do some operation. So there you humans cannot reach. So those kind of small or tiny or minute machines need to be tracked properly. Then the monitor equipments even in location where humans cannot intervene. Then using IoT in human asset management. So all this like asset tracking is necessary for both humans as well as machines in the company. So there are like different IoT assets simply like summarized here. You can anyway go through as I say at the slides. So starting from your web-based services, softwares, protocols also are asset. Okay, so there are different kinds of communication protocols that get used. Power supply, networks, then hardware, gateways, then device to interface with things, device network management. All these are like some assets that have been like summarized here. You can go through that. So that's all for today. So this completes your fourth module. So let me share this slide with you. It's the syllabus. So fourth module was about approaches to gather the business requirement, defining the problem statement, business requirement for the use case development, and assets for development of IoT solutions. Okay, so this covers your fourth module. So in the next class, we'll be moving into your fifth module. Okay, was that clear or any doubt? Just let me know. Okay, thank you. I'll just post the question. All of you can answer, and then we'll be. Then the question, all of you answer, and then you can. Sagun, are you here? I think the other group. Okay, anyway, your answer script is corrected. You can see it in fourth and fifth. Today is the Telugu New Year, right? So happy Ugadi, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You have some functions or celebrations in the evening time, right? You burn some bonfire kind of thing or no? Is it done in Ugadi or no? Hello? Yeah. What do you do in Ugadi? Is there any specific tradition you follow? Or no? Yeah, hello. Can anybody hear me? Like help me with what you do in Ugadi? Avinav, you are Telugu, right? Yeah. Anyone? Hello. Yeah, Avinav, can you hear me?
Ma'am?
Yeah, you are Telugu, right?
Ma'am, I
Or
didn't
no?
get you.
Are you Telugu? Are you
Yes,
from
ma'am, I am
Andhra?
from Andhra Pradesh.
Okay, so what you do in Ugadi?
Ma'am, I am not able to hear you.
What you do in Ugadi?
Ma'am, regarding this COVID situation, ma'am.
No, no, no.
Ma'am,
Generally, in Ugadi, there is this New Year
Ugadi,
today. Yeah.
we actually do some puja and we have Ugadi Pachadi, ma'am.
What you have?
Pickle, ma'am. Ugadi Pachadi.
Okay, okay. So you have some celebration in evening time or in the daytime itself you do?
In the daytime, ma'am.
Okay, there is some. Is there some bonfire kind of thing you do or no?
No,
Like
ma'am.
camp? No.
No, no, no.
Okay. Okay, so it's just the puja and celebration.
Yes, ma'am.
You wear new clothes today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then happy Ugadi.
Thank you, ma'am. Same to you.
Okay, then I'll end the meeting here. Thank you, everyone.